I never intended to be away from YouTube for this long, and I think it's time that we sit down and have a little chat about what's been going on the past few months and really the past 2 years, and why I stopped posting on here for so long. We are here in July of 2025, and I haven't posted a video since July of 2024, and even that video was filmed in July of 2023. So the last YouTube video I posted on here is really 2 years old, which is crazy. I want you guys to know I didn't just decide to leave YouTube. I would not make a decision like that and then go without warning to all of you. And I really appreciate those of you who are watching my video now and coming back to my channel after I've been away for so long. I cannot overstate how grateful I am for that. That being said, there were a number of reasons why I stopped posting, and it seemed like once one reason stopped, another one started, and so finally, I feel like I'm in a place where I can come back to this channel and put in the effort that these videos require and that I require to post videos, because I never want to post something that is anything less than perfect. But I'm really happy to be back and talking to all of you again, because I've really missed posting on here, and I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to catch up, bring everybody up to speed at where we are now in July of 2025, and also talk about some of the reasons why I was gone, because I feel like I owe it to all of you to talk about that. So first, let's cover what has not changed since I last posted a year ago. One, I still live in Southern California. My airplanes are based at Camarillo Airport, and I live in Ventura County, so really nice part of California. And I guess that brings us to point number 2, is that I still really enjoy living here. I'm glad that I moved. I do miss Michigan, definitely, but I can't complain about the flying weather year round. 3, I still have the Bonanza, obviously. And 4, I still have 77 Alpha, Little Ugly, my Cessna 140. And 5, I still love flying. I'm still flying, not as much as I should, but still quite a bit. And I've been going on some really fun adventures. I've definitely done less flying since I posted that last YouTube video, but I have still done some pretty fun flying in the past year or so. So why have I not posted on YouTube? There's a number of reasons I haven't posted, and the first one that has sort of been a common theme throughout the past year and a half, 2 years, is maintenance. I have 2 very, very old airplanes. One is a 1949 and one is a 1952, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love them very dearly, but they definitely come with their fair share of maintenance problems, and not just maintenance problems induced by the fact that they're old, but really parts availability and difficulty finding mechanics to work on them who know the systems. I enjoy learning about maintenance. I enjoy getting my hands dirty, even if it means redoing my nails way too often. I feel like all vintage airplane maintenance sometimes takes longer than your average airplane maintenance. The systems are very antiquated and they require special knowledge, a lot of research, and it can be difficult to find parts sometimes, which has proved to be the case for both my Bonanza and the 140. The majority of my maintenance issues started after Oshkosh of 2023, and they happened with the 140. If you remember, we redid a lot of the different items on my 140, from the paint to the panel to the interior. When ArtCraft did the paint, obviously the entire airplane was sort of looked at, and all that's left that we haven't really touched on the airplane is the engine. And so of course that's what I had issues with, even though when I bought the airplane it was a mid-time engine, had great compressions, great oil consumption. Things just happen, and I started having issues with the airplane on the way back from Oshkosh of 2023, and the issues sort of continued all the way to Oshkosh 2024. So I spent an entire year trying to chase down this weird behavior with the 140, and we ended up having to take some pretty drastic measures to fix it. And luckily I did film 2 videos of this entire maintenance process. So that's what you'll be seeing next on this channel, are those 2 videos of what exactly happened to the 140. If you follow my Instagram, you probably already know what happened to the 140. It's like nothing I've ever done on this channel before. What I learned in that process was invaluable and has made me such a better pilot and just have such a better mechanical understanding of how my airplanes work. So I wouldn't have traded it for anything. It definitely did make me slow down on YouTube quite a bit, and that was sort of the start of sort of a longer slowdown that we kind of got into around Oshkosh of 2024. Maintenance is something that I have learned so much more about in the past few years of owning both my airplanes, and I definitely want to get my A&P someday. That's definitely on my list of, big dreams. So there were maintenance issues on the 140. That's something that's definitely changed in the past year. Luckily now the 140 is running great. It runs nice and smooth like a little sewing machine, and the Bonanza is doing pretty well as well. In 2023, I did have some issues with my propeller, which is an electric propeller. It's the Beech 215 electric propeller, and it's one of 3 propeller options for my engine, which is the E225. It's the predecessor to the 470. I feel like I get the comment a lot that I should just switch to the hydraulic propeller, but honestly, it's not that much better. But I did have some issues with my propeller. We got the propeller IRAN'd because nobody will overhaul them these days. They're just that old and there's no parts. After getting the propeller IRAN'd on the Bonanza, there haven't really been any issues with it, so it's been pretty reliable. We just did the annual on it a few weeks ago, and it's been pretty solid since then. So I have been having some fun flying this the past few months. We resolved a lot of the maintenance issues with the 140 in kind of middle of 2024, and then the 140 and the Bonanza went to Oshkosh 2024. I flew the Bonanza in 2024 with my best friend, Allie. She's a pilot as well. She just passed her instrument about a month or 2 ago, and we had the best time ever flying to Oshkosh, and I am still regretting not filming it because you all would have loved it as well. We just had a blast. My boyfriend Graham was nice enough to fly the 140 last year. Unfortunately, I'm not yet to the point where I can fly 2 airplanes at once. Maybe we'll get there someday, but we're not there yet. Graham was nice enough to fly the 140 to Oshkosh that year, and despite a broken alternator on leg 1 of the trip, we still made it in time, and we brought home some hardware in the form of a bronze Lindy at Oshkosh as well. I've also taken the 140 a couple places. One of the fun places we took the 140 was in spring of 2024. We took it to the Luscombe Fly-In in Columbia, did the whole airplane camping thing. That was a really fun trip, and I'm really looking forward to taking it back there again soon. And just a few days ago, I took the Bonanza up to San Luis Obispo for breakfast. After I share kind of the story of what happened with the 140 in these next 2 videos, I really want to start exploring California and seeing all of the cool airports that are here, because I feel like I've been so tied down with either airplane upgrades or maintenance problems that I haven't actually gotten to do a lot of the local flying that I've really wanted to do since I moved here. All in all, both my airplanes are running really, really well right now, and it's been an amazing learning experience having, sort of these maintenance issues come up, but it definitely takes my focus away from other things like YouTube, and it's definitely very time consuming. So hopefully we've wrangled most of those things. Obviously, issues are always going to come up. That's just what airplane ownership is. But I think I've learned a lot about how to manage those issues, find parts more efficiently, and hopefully we will not be having this scale of problems for a very long time. Earlier in the video, when I was rattling off all those things that haven't changed, you may have picked up that one of the things that was not on that list was my job. And that is because I have a new job, not just at a new company, but a completely new title and in a completely new industry. I've talked about this a little bit, I think, in my Moving to California series, but I graduated in 2020 from the University of Michigan College of Engineering with a degree in computer science engineering, so a BSc. And about 3 months after I graduated, I started working at a company in the Silicon Valley Bay Area. I had interned at this company in 2019 when everything was in person still, and I loved it so much. I loved working at this company, especially as an intern. It was such a fun experience. And after that internship in 2019, I could not make my mind up on whether I wanted to go do computer science and software engineering for a living or whether I wanted to go fly for a living. And I had an amazing return offer from this company. And we all know what happened in 2020. The airline industry went like this and the tech industry went like this. So in 2020, after I graduated, I went and started full-time at this company that I had worked at as an intern. It's a company in Silicon Valley. If you really want to know, you can go stalk my LinkedIn, but I really enjoyed working at this company. As an intern and then also full-time, I spent most of my time there on the mobile team. What that means is that I was writing code daily for this company's mobile applications, so iOS code and Android code in Swift, Objective-C, Kotlin, and Java. And then I was also writing code for this company's mobile website, and that was a lot of JavaScript and React. I loved working here. It was such a great place to go and sort of learn things right out of school. And the people that I worked with were amazing. Really, the only gripe I had about it for a long time was that I wasn't really passionate about the product. It definitely was not something that I used on a daily basis, and I think everything about the job was just so great that I was completely fine to stay there. I wasn't necessarily job searching, but if something better came along, I would definitely take the opportunity. And lucky for me, something better did come along. As many of you know, through being on social media, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different companies and brands. And one company that I've probably worked with the most up until this point is Garmin. I've done a panel upgrade on my Bonanza with Garmin avionics, and then I've also done a panel upgrade on my 140 with Garmin avionics. I've had the privilege of having both of my airplanes on display for 2 years at Oshkosh, and then the Bonanza the 3rd year when I didn't have the 140 yet. And I've gone out to headquarters to film videos. I mean, I have loved every second of working with Garmin. It has been nothing short of amazing. And in early 2024, I found out that Garmin had an opening for a role that I would most definitely be interested in. So I sent over my resume, I had a phone call with HR, I had a phone call with the hiring manager, and then they invited me out to do a full day of interviews at headquarters in Olathe. I spent the day first giving a presentation on the product that I would be working on, and then I spent the rest of the day talking with people and being interviewed by people who I would be working with daily. After I interviewed in May, I was extended an offer for the position, and in October of 2024, I started a new role as the product manager for Garmin Pilot. If you don't know what Garmin Pilot is Garmin's flight planning application that you can use on your iOS and Android devices, and then now as a website as well, so I think that's pretty cool. You can do all of your flight planning, check your weather, airport information, you can file your flight plan, view your logbook. Everything that you need to do to plan a flight from start to finish is available on Garmin Pilot. My last job was really sitting in front of a computer and coding all day, and this job is still sitting in front of a computer because I work from home still, but I get to have conversations with people all day about aviation and software and marketing and all the things that I'm passionate about. I feel like product management as a term sounds really, really boring, but I promise it's not. What I do as product manager at an extremely high level is I look at both the short-term and the long-term vision of where we want the product to go, in this case, Garmin Pilot. And then I look at what features we want to implement and the priority order of how we want to implement those. I also get to work with the avionics teams when we have features that we want to cross over between the two. So things like flight plan transfer, pulling engine data onto Garmin Pilot, things like that. Since I joined Garmin as an employee in October 2024, I've had the opportunity to be there for some really, really cool product launches with Garmin Pilot. The first product launch was Garmin Pilot Web. Garmin Pilot Web launched in April of 2025, so just a few months ago, and I was pretty involved in the launch for Garmin Pilot Web. So it was really, really cool to be a part of a launch that wasn't just a feature, but was an entirely new website that a team had created from scratch. And that team is so talented, and I'm very lucky that I get to work with them. And the second major product launch that I've been there for was Smart Charts. Smart Charts takes your approach plates, your SIDs, stars, airport diagrams, and makes them customizable to you and your flight. You can choose what category airplane you are, what NOTAMs are in effect, and it will tailor the approach plate to be exactly what you need to complete your flight. It also has not only georeferencing and scalability on the plate itself, but a georeferenced vertical profile as well. Fun fact, the Fisk Arrival is actually available on Garmin Smart Charts and on Garmin Avionics now. So if you're flying into Oshkosh this year, definitely check it out. The only downside to me starting this new role with Garmin is that I am unfortunately no longer able to be a Garmin ambassador because I am a Garmin employee. So Garmin is still going to be a huge part of all of my videos just because I care about the product so much, but I am no longer sponsored by Garmin. I am really, really excited about this role. I feel so lucky to wake up every morning and be able to work in a position where I get to combine my love for aviation, my passion for engineering, especially mobile development, and marketing as well, and where I also get to work with really amazing people every day. And I'm really excited for all of you to see all of the cool things that we have on the Garmin Pilot roadmap. Before I sign off from today's video, there is one more thing that I feel the need to sort of bring up on here. This is not something that I really want to talk about, and this is probably the first and last time that you will ever hear me talk about this on here. Someone that I love and care very, very much about was in a very serious accident about a year ago. And luckily, they're alive and okay, but it was not without a very, very long stay in the hospital. We didn't really know how things were going to turn out or what was going to happen, and I'm really grateful that things turned out the way that they did. It is not my story to tell. In fact, I don't think it's anyone's story to tell except for the person that it happened to, so I think this will probably be the last time I ever bring this up on here, at least for many, many years. So again, everybody is now happy and healthy, but life happens. Let this be a reminder to you to, 1, go hug your people and tell them you love them as much as you can, and 2, you never know what someone is going through, so just remember to be kind. Thank you all for sort of taking the time to sit down and chat with me about how life has been going lately. Despite obviously what happened, there have been so many great things that have happened in the past year or so. Like I mentioned way in the beginning of the video, the next 2 videos you're going to see on this channel are the 2 videos about what happened to my Cessna 140. After that, I would really love to take my airplanes around and explore California, explore the West Coast, and explore the country even, because there's so much that I have not seen and I want to take all of you along for the ride. If you're watching this around the time that it's being posted, you probably know that next week is Oshkosh, which is my favorite week of the year, and I am of course going to be there this year. I will not have any of the airplanes on display this year, but I will be there, and I have several meet and greet times, so please come say hi. It is the highlight of my year every year to be able to talk to all of you. On Monday, I have a meet and greet at McCauley at 11 a.m. On Tuesday, I have a meet and greet with ArtCraft at 11 a.m. And then on Wednesday, I have a meet and greet in front of the Garmin booth at 10:30 a.m. And if I do put any more meet and greets on the schedule, they will be posted on my Instagram or in my YouTube posts. So definitely be sure to check those 2 locations out as we get closer. But my Instagram is the same as my YouTube handle. It's Bayflight, so go check it out. All the most up-to-date information will be there. I know I said this in the beginning of the video, but I am, again, really grateful for all of you who are still here watching, even though I have not posted in a year. I am so, so grateful for everything that I have been able to do because of social media, and I'm really looking forward to bringing you all on more adventures very, very soon. Bye!